They come from money and markets, they come with expertise to tackle social and economic problems, and they come to connect to a deep story written in their DNA and in their hearts. Americans are moving to Africa for every reason you can imagine, and their numbers are rising. Here's a crazy truth. No one really knows how many Americans live outside the United States. The estimates range from about 4.5 million up to 9 million. That is a vast range of uncertainty. We do know that a large share of these Americans aren't really overseas. They're just across the border in Canada or Mexico, Mexico being the numero dos, casa, país, home, for Americans not at home. America has a large population, third biggest in the world, so you can lose a few million people, not necessarily noticed. If you had a dinner party with 25 guests who evenly represented the people on this planet, 1 would be American, 4 from India, 4 from China, and the other 20 from everywhere else. So when we ask how many Americans are living and working in Africa, well, you really have to dig for the data for that one. The most solid info that I found comes from the Federal Voting Assistance Program, which helps Americans vote from overseas, and there's a surprise in their data. This voting program found that the number of Americans of voting age, that is at least 18 years old, had increased 37% in Sub Saharan Africa between 2010 and 2018. That was the second highest growth rate of any region in the world, topped only by Oceania, which I think are like islands in the Pacific. A clue comes in tax data from the American Internal Revenue Service. Now, Americans working abroad who spend 11 months of the year outside the United States can exclude a large share of their income from taxation, currently over $107,000 per year. The most recent data we have is from tax year 2016, and it shows that South Africa was the biggest source in Africa of tax returns from Americans with this foreign earned income exclusion, followed by Egypt, Kenya, Nigeria, Morocco, and Angola. So who are these people? Well, they're Americans like me who work with African countries to improve living conditions, health, agriculture, education, who help to work on effective governance in Africa. And then you have business executives and entrepreneurs who are working on energy projects, or building hotels, building apps, working on consumer brand development in Africa, working in offices of American companies. You even have Americans trying to get American sports off the ground in Africa, especially pro basketball. One clue telling us where Americans live in Africa is where the airlines fly in Africa from America. One such gateway is Accra in the West African country of Ghana. Now, it was the first country to gain independence in the colonial era in 1957 from Britain, and has long held a really special place in the imagination of Americans. In 2019, Ghana hosted the Year of Return to mark the 400th anniversary of the first recorded enslaved Africans arriving in America, and thousands upon thousands of Americans made that journey to Ghana. And when people visit a place full of so much meaning and emotion, they sometimes decide that's where they want to live and make a difference. If you sense that something big is happening in Africa, you're right. This channel helps you understand the changes and the opportunities so you can get involved. Now, one group of Americans that slips under the radar are the so-called digital nomads. These are people who are working on using the internet, and they are essentially camped out in a country of their choice to do that. Now, the numbers of these digital nomads are likely to rise because we have just come through a period in which we've seen that the internet's a very viable way to work, as half the world has been hiding in their houses from the plague. And now some countries are cluing into this and are offering special work visas to attract these digital nomads. One African country doing this is the rich island nation of Mauritius, the lovely Île Maurice out in the Indian Ocean, where the ethnic Indian residents speak French. Yes, it's as strange as it sounds, but English is widely spoken too. The premium travel visa allows you to stay 1 year as long as your work and income are from off the island. You may be subject to tax after 6 months, so see the link in the description for more info. Now, to be sure, the number of Americans living and working in Africa compared to, say, East Asia or certainly Europe is still quite small by comparison. But I attribute that mostly to a lack of awareness about what is happening in Africa, and particularly in Sub Saharan Africa, and the profound changes that are underway, and certainly the opportunities that seem to be cropping up by the day. And I think as that awareness builds, and I hope this channel helps in that regard, and as you learn more about these opportunities, I think that's going to change. And I think people like you will start to think, hey, maybe I could live and work in Africa. Maybe I should at least take an extended trip there and sort of check out the opportunities and explore this a bit more. And I think this is a really a moment when you can start to really see yourself connecting to this new narrative of 21st century Africa and sort of saying, hey, maybe I could fit into this picture. Now, look at me. 10 to 15 years ago, I really didn't imagine that I was going to be spending years in Africa, but that's exactly what I have done, and it's been absolutely fascinating. So this could happen to you too. So as that awareness builds, as people start to pay more attention, I think you're going to see more Americans showing up in Africa, and some of them to live. And I think these numbers will start to go up.